everybody, I'm Hoarder Gamer, and today I'm going to review Thor #1 by Jason Aaron, and I believe is it Mike Del Mundo? Yes, Mike Del Mundo. So here's going to be that review, okay? Well, Thor is back, okay? For a long time, Jane Foster actually took the mantle of Thor. And now Thor Odinson's back, and this is issue 1, so basically a relaunch, and it's one of the Marvel relaunches like Hulk and everything else that has been recent. Let's see here. The things to keep in mind, he's got a golden arm now. He's missing his, is it right, his left arm? Let's see if I move on the cover. Looks like his left arm's missing, actually. And now he has nameless weapons because Mjolnir is gone. And I'm sure I didn't pronounce that correctly, but it's probably as best as I can do. One of the set pieces is a fight against Juggernaut at the Temple of Sidorak, which is pretty cool because the way they have it happen, how it unfolds, they have all these like disciples, and they have the Temple of Sidorak, which is mentioned in the book. And if you're thinking about that, you're like, wait a minute, are we going to possibly get the Juggernaut? Because he's powered by the, I believe, the Ruby of Sidorak, if I remember correctly. And this is a super powerful Juggernaut. He's a lot stronger than he usually is. He's very, very dangerous. And when he hits Thor, it hurts like hell. So basically what has to happen is Thor, attacks him with a weapon. A weapon breaks on his helmet. Thor's like, So then he calls to the smiths, I guess you could say, I believe Clinkbeard is his name, to send more weapons. Send them all, he says. So all these, like, hammers, and some look like axes, but I think they're still supposed to be hammers. Little confusing, because on the cover of the book, he's actually got, like, what looks like an axe and like a mace and all these other things that he's like spinning around, that he, the thing he did with his hammer usually. So I think they're all supposed to be kind of hammers though. Anyway, they all come down and he just, one after another, uses these weapons to basically take Juggernaut off his guard just so he can escape. That's how deadly Juggernaut has become. So I'll be interested to see who takes him on and what can actually defeat this new, more powerful Juggernaut. I mean, still, I believe Kane Marco, but, he's a lot more powerful now. So, I guess you could say a new, improved Juggernaut. So once he escapes, we find out that he's trying to find and secure the weapons of Asgard so they don't fall into dangerous hands. So it's like he's going on all these like missions to get these items back. And he's also trying to repair the Bifrost, also known as the Rainbow Bridge, because it has been broken. Then, Loki shows up, and time and space wackiness ensues. Because Loki is like, I can help you find a piece of the Bifrost, brother, and help you put it back together. And then some crazy, wild things happen. And again, I don't like to spoil the entire book. These are already a lot of details from it. So that's the meat of issue 1 of the main story, but then there's a side story there. So it's chapter 1 of a side story that takes place in the far off future, okay? And entropy has brought us to the end of time and existence itself. And in that place, Thor encounters somebody, which is a great and humorous surprise, which is necessary because this is like, I want to say 8 to 10 pages of very dour, very depressing reading. Not a beat at all. And if I understood it correctly, Thor's granddaughters are there. And it's so weird because Thor's much older. So I was confusing him with his father. So not exactly sure. But the artwork was gorgeous in that side story. It was really good. Now that brings us to what I need to say about this book. The writing's great. Jason Aaron does a really good job. He did the side story as well as the main story. Okay? And in all honesty, though, it's sort of like waiting for the other shoe to drop. Not a lot happens in the side story, even though it's really kind of interesting the way it's written and everything. Not all that much ultimately happens. And according to the book, it won't be continued, the side story at least, until Thor issue 5. So that's kind of a weird thing to me. I'm going to be frank right now. I don't like the art of the main book, or the main story. Mike Del Mundo, everything looks like it's distorted in a funhouse mirror. And I can see that working really well in an indie book, but not in the relaunch issue of one of Marvel's biggest books. I'm interested to see how long they're keeping him on Thor, or if he's going to move to a different book. A lot of things are hard to even make out at times. And his take on Jane Foster, his take on Jane Foster is just not good. His Juggernaut is good, but his Thor at times is questionable. And all these other characters like Heimdall don't look correct either. I don't know, it's distracting. It's distracting. And it is something that I had to look at when I was reviewing this. So I would give it an 8. Now, this book with better art is a 9. It's really well written. There's a lot of funny jokes in it. It's very entertaining. You know, until you get to the pretty depressing side story there. But otherwise, I liked it. I thought it was good. I have an interest in checking out Thor issue 2. And as much as I love comic books, I'll be honest, I'm not a huge fan of Thor, nor do I know all that much about him recently in the comic books anyway. So even with that, it was still exciting, and it made sense mostly. And it was a good place to jump on, I felt, if you haven't read it in a while or if you're new to the series. So, well, everybody, I want to thank you all very much for watching. I'm Hoarder Gamer, and whether you watch us on Twitch or YouTube, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much. And I'll have more reviews coming in the near future. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.